How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Kids, it's me, Johnny Fox. And look, it's the one and only legendary Cavern Girl, Lexi Whiteside. Um, Good to have you back, second time.
Second time. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine because I'm not as ridiculously busy still as you always are.
I know it's about time I have a little rest at some point, isn't it?
Yeah, take a breath, girl. Christ. Um,
I love it how you send me little messages going, and I've like got a gig cancelled, and you're like, just have a little rest, Lex, and I'm like, I already booked another one, so
yeah. So lots have happened. Not lots of music. Lots of gigs, lots of recording, lots of other slightly extracurricular things going on. I mean,
oh, that
that's
sounds weird, doesn't it?
hey,
That
well, it is now. You made it weird.
I,
You did.
I'm good at making things weird.
I mean, hey, that's a much bigger car than last time, from the looks of it.
Much bigger car, yeah. I've got my own a little space. It's exciting.
Oh,
It's very exciting.
oh, crazy. That with everything, the way this country is to be able to do that, it's because it's not easy, and some people are struggling. So it's great, a success. It can be done. It can be done, kids.
It can be. It depends how much you want something. I always think. But I am
Yeah.
lucky, very lucky. So I never take that one for granted.
Fantastic. So, come on. I'm talking way too much. Give us some updates.
Me,
What's
I mean,
going on?
I'm just busy gigging at the minute, which is wonderful. I was chatting to a good friend of mine today, and I was like, "Can you believe it? Like a few years ago, if you'd have told me this would be my life, I'd have honestly told you, don't be silly, don't be silly." Sat here in an orange beanie talking to you, it's it's
Again,
insane.
it. See, this is why I do this. I wanted to tell everyone it can be done, kids. You too can have an orange beanie. It's possible. It's not
Primark,
just an urban myth.
Primark special, this one. It's lasted me several years and several
They're
photo
not all.
shoots.
They're not all black
Oh, I
with
love
with
that.
indie film prints on. Um,
Ooh,
there'll be
maybe I
more of
need a
that.
new hat.
Keep that. Check those guys out. They'll be. It's a bit quiet at the minute, but when it kicks off, you'll want to know and you'll want to be in on it. Anyway, we're not talking about them. We're talking about Lexi Whiteside or LXYT.
Yeah.
Come on.
Um, yeah, I was like, I've had that name in my head since I was at school. I used to write on little, books that you weren't meant to write things on and, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I was like, why am I struggling to post on social media? Which is awful that was one of the considerations, but it's kind of a consideration to have at the minute.
Well,
You know, because, when you your income is your gigs, then your creative side. I just didn't want it to get confused. I wanted to separate them off a little bit, because the LXYT stuff is so different to the acoustic covers that I do. So it was just like, I think we need to separate it off a little bit.
well, that makes sense. So is it forgive me as an old person, I'm just maybe not down with the lingo or whatever. So is it an acronym for something
Well,
or
what inspired me was, Katie Tunstall, how
all
she
right,
was
yeah,
Katie
Katie.
instead of Katie. I don't know whether that's how she actually spells the name officially on her birth certificate, but it was how she did it. That's what inspired me because Katie Tunstall was a huge inspiration.
Yes.
And yeah, so LX is Lex, YT is because White Side Whitey.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like so it doesn't so it's not like Lexi excites young Todgers or anything like that
No,
then,
I
no?
mean, I'm going to nick that one though. That's going on all promo stuff now. But I mean, we have to be careful with that, don't we?
Yeah, so the Yeah, so you snuck a single out while nobody was looking.
Yep.
That's cheap
Yeah.
truth.
And I didn't promote it either, so not really. I maybe put one post up compared to, hammering it. I just got it out there. Yeah, probably thinking about it now. Could have done with maybe thinking of.
Oh,
Oh, you're still there? Yes, we're back. We're back. But yeah, I just wanted to get it out there and yeah, just
yeah.
see
So
what
there's
people thought, really.
so the album would that be that's a 2025 thing, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
unless it sneaks into all those Christmas stockings in a few weeks without telling anyone
I
and doing one post. Or
I
do you
don't know.
have big plans for an album
I don't know
launch?
if you're the same as me though. My eyes are bigger than my belly sometimes, Had visions of like by end of 2025, an album on vinyl and you know, but we're working towards the goal, so 2025 will be the one, I think.
Yeah, it's just like there's nothing wrong with thinking big, nothing wrong at all. Do the thing,
Yeah.
do the thing. I've been told quite a few times recently. I've reached out to a few people. I've got a few slightly bigger ideas, and then I'm very skeptical of whether can I really pull that off. Would people really care? Would anybody come? Does anybody actually like me? You know,
Oh,
and yeah. So I've been told do the thing.
do the
Shut up,
thing.
do the thing.
But I'm the same. Like I don't know if you've noticed, but my social media, like for example, is I just I've had that a bit of a block recently of like putting genuine kind of posts on other than I'm here tonight, I'm here and stuff. It's sometimes it does get the slight imposter syndrome or whatever. It happens, and don't matter whether you're doing something. We say action helps with that, but sometimes you can be doing a lot of action and kind of it can still kind of
Yeah,
not happen,
I, I'm I'm trying to get in the headspace that it might be better to try and fail than not try. You know?
Absolutely. Which one would you regret more? That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's like trying to think back on past regrets and trying to have a future where regrets aren't really a thing.
Yeah.
Not because everything goes right, because it just won't. Because it's the universe. It doesn't work like that. But how you deal with it, rather than regret it. There are other ways and means you can channel those energies and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, from everything you do, whether that's inaction, action, there's either a lesson, person, or an experience that you get from it. So you never really lose, do you?
That's well, that's where I'm trying to get to.
Are
But
you
yeah,
doing it?
but
I mean,
I am not a loser.
you were not like you've like reached out to so many people, and for example, you reached out to me. I'm like, oh, yeah, let's give it a go. Why not? And
Yeah,
here we are,
it,
round
it
two.
it's kind of crazy, really. It went very quickly. Again, we're talking about me, but it includes you. It went very quickly from like, oh, I have some friends like that do stuff like in bands or artists and stuff. So it's like, oh, so that'd be fun. It went so quickly to tapping some complete stranger on the shoulder because the algorithm was nice to me and said, you might like Lexi Whiteside.
Wow.
Have a quick listen and a bit of a look. Actually, I fucking do. Thanks for that. I'm actually saying yes and doing the thing. And I'm doing it again and keeping in touch in between. And it's
Well,
been a fantastic year for me. It really has. As it's coming to an end, so I'm starting to look back and think about all that. How did it go? What can I do better next year? What do I want to do more of, less of? All of that.
oh, that's amazing. Like I think you should be so proud of yourself. Like and you do put the action in. Like you do put the effort in and stuff. And
I,
for
you know what? I do. I am, and it's been hard for me to say things like this. So I am very good at this.
Yeah,
I actually am very good at this. Not just this bit, but also just the day to day post things
yeah,
that I do on here.
yeah, 'cause-
I am because I within my own sort of friends list, they like me, which is wonderful, but they like other sort of similar like pop culture
yeah,
sort of pages. And time and again, these other pages keep posting about this movie, released this year, it's its 30th anniversary or whatever. It's that person's 50th birthday, that cool celebrity, and it's not. They're wrong. It's like a fucking 30-second Google on Wikipedia to know whether it's Keanu Reeves' birthday or not, And
yeah,
page after page after page. Whether they, I don't, because maybe they just, if you post Keanu Reeves, you're going to get some traffic, right? You're going to get some hits and likes. It's going to cross people's paths.
yeah,
People are. So I don't know if they just, he has about 5 birthdays a year on this page just because, like, whatever is cool, any excuse to post it. But you could just go, isn't Keanu Reeves cool? And post a cool picture from, your favorite movie. But they don't. They make it like it's a birthday or it's 30 years since Bill and Ted or something like that.
yeah.
And it's like, it just isn't. Why do that? You don't have to do that to post Canoe. If you want to post Canoe, just post Canoe. It's fine. And it's just like, so they're all wrong. They're all really bad at it. Everybody come to my page. However many million people like that piece of shit page. They want to
It's
come here. They
it's
really do. If that's what
interest.
they're into, they want to come here. At least I'll get it right.
I think that's the interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, and I think for me, that's why I was saying earlier about like the posting on social media, and I'm having a real thing at the minute of like, you know, you've got your passion and stuff. Obviously, I've got my passion in my music and stuff, but I wanting to make sure what I put out it adds value, um,
Yeah.
and potentially could help someone or just like brighten up someone's day or even make them cry, whatever. But like, and so I've dropped into like a perfectionist thing of like not posting and not taking action because I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, like, and I think you can overthink it. But I think if you've got the direction, you've got like the knowledge, yeah, it's people will
Yeah.
come. Like people will,
I think for me, I've looked into the idea that, you know, I'm just here to talk shit with far more talented people than I ever was. So that's it. Like I can't get that wrong. It can't be too personal or too silly or too so don't really have to think too much. If I want to do something, I can just
yeah,
do it. I've given myself a remit within what I've chosen to do, so that's okay. But when I was the performer, when I was the musician, that was I, I I was so like I just want the music. It speaks for itself. I want to do music. I don't want to make a stupid video. I don't want to do a silly biography thing. I don't want to, it was just like it seemed like anything would just dilute the music or take away from the music. And it didn't matter how many other bands or artists around the same time and or even around the same town could get way more successful by doing what I thought was kind of brainless, pointless, like social media crap,
yeah.
while I'm writing much better songs. But that was the thing that kind of niggled me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think just I think maybe I'm being a little harsh on myself because like as well, just the level of gigs I'm doing, it's like sometimes I just like I'm true Cancerian. I'm like little crab. I have to go back in my little shell and recharge for a bit, and then it's like I take my hat off. Well, I'm not going to take it off, but my hair's a mess. But take my hat off to people that are able to do all of this. I think that's a skill in itself, and hopefully I'll learn it. I'll do it at some point.
Yeah,
But you're doing
I
it, and
mean,
you're very on it, and
you're right. It does seem to be becoming more and more essential. It is where people are
mm,
the, the kind of they're maybe more likely to actually discover you, especially as you lean more and more into perhaps the original side of things in the future. To really, if you really want to start the album promotion,
yeah.
when that's the thing you want to start doing, not just dropping one post and hoping somebody notices. Then it's whether we like it or not. I think it's very much a thing. You want to
Definitely.
go, tap a few. I'm sure you've got friends. If not, I might be able to hook you up with some pretty decent photographers that can. It won't be too difficult to make you look, all cool and
Well, that's what
attractive and all that. So
I need a fashion designer. I need a videographer, photographer. I need it all.
if you're a fashion designer, a videographer, a photographer,
Oh,
Lexi
just
Whiteside Music, look
creatives,
her
come
up.
at me, come
Give
at
her,
me.
yeah,
Not
give her.
even to work together. Just
She's now taking quotes on fashion.
makeup
Whatever.
artists, anyone,
Yeah.
come message
If
me.
you're watching, and you're just thinking, no, that orange is just not right for that complexion. No, no.
I think they might be right. I think it might be time for, you know, orange is the lowest chakras,
Ah,
isn't it, as well?
yeah, but it's the wise man once said it's the new black. I don't know what that's all about, but
So, are you into Star Wars by any chance?
I am partial.
Partial. I've been sorting through some stuff.
All
1 second.
right, Star Wars stuff, kids.
How
Yeah.
cute is
Oh,
that?
oh my god, that's fantastic.
Your own apartment,
Wow.
everyone is go through your potato heads. And what was your favourite TV show growing up?
Oh, jeez, growing up. It depends how young do we want to go? Do we want to go like Thundercats growing up or X Files growing up?
Well, any, because I was just like, I found my prized possessions, and last night I couldn't sleep. So this is the interesting world that I live in. Could not sleep last night. So I was like, I love bike mice. I
All right.
found them yesterday, and I was like googling on eBay how much they are to complete the set and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, we're 33 now, Lex. Like, is that what you do? But apparently, that's what I did last night. I mean, a little brave.
Yeah, I mean, it's cliche and it's obvious, but I'll take the turtles over the mice every time.
Oh, I've got turtles as well, don't you? Turtle. But yeah, I'm like, I've got a turtle onesie somewhere
But
as well.
there was once upon a time. Funny, you mentioned that there was. We're gigging in. Where were we? Manchester. We're gigging in Manchester. And weirdly, it was like it wasn't a festival. It was like an all day kind of it was an indoor thing, but it was like an all day event. There was tons and tons of acts on. But for some reason, it was very much like a industrial, like kind of industrial, kind of techno, kind of metal, kind of goth, kind of a thing. There was a lot of black, a lot of upside down crosses, like quite a few drum machines, synthesizers,
Yeah.
And for some reason, my little kind of Nirvana knockoffy sort of punk rock band. I can't really remember how we ended up with the gig. And it just seemed like, yeah, this is not going to work, is it? Like compared to some of these, you hear a few at sound check when you turn up and then it's your turn and you're thinking, shit. So we went looking for something to eat before it was stage time. And we were talking to each other. And it was like, compared to these fuckers, we're just going to come off like the Spice Girls. And so we instantly, so the guy, the singer, thankfully I wasn't singing. That was the best bit about that particular lineup. And the singer just took a look at us. There's me being me. He was a few years more mature than we were, and the other guy was a three piece. He was a big biker, and he turns around and he looks straight at us and he goes, "Well, if we're the Spice Girls, I'm Old Spice, John's Hairy Spice, and you're Biker Spice from Mars."
Did you play the gig though?
Oh, we
That.
did. And we went down really well, and everybody was super lovely because the goths usually are incredibly lovely, friendly
Yeah.
people. It's yeah, they get a bad rap, but don't believe it, kids. You see some like 7 foot tall. He's really only about 4.5 foot like I am, but with those boots,
Oh yeah. They're
you know,
scary, them boots. Like,
yeah, they're like this 7 foot tall black with a fucking black hair, looking like kind of like something between like the bad guy from the first Highlander movie and the girl that crawls out the well
it,
in the
yeah,
ring.
but like, them boots, like, they're heavy. Have you ever picked those up?
No,
They
because
could do some
I
serious
can't.
damage.
It's not physically possible. I couldn't walk in them. I can't pick them up by hand. Oh, I'm too small. It'd be great. I mean, when it's windy, a small man like myself could do with something similar, but a little smaller. Something still usable, but just something that holds me down.
Your story reminded me of, so like there was a time, I mean many years ago, but I was playing bass for a friend of mine, like, just depping on bass. He's an amazing singer-songwriter. He's like, his use of lyrics are just incredible, the storytelling. And we did the old tram lines, tram lines in Sheffield when it was in the city centre, and it was like one of the fringe places. So there was like, I think we had, was it two or three booked in? And we played one, amazing. Yeah, we played two, amazing. Walked into this other place and we just like both looked at each other and went, I don't think we're the right vibe for here. And we both did, he went, should we do a runner? And I went, go on then. So we did a runner. And I'm like, I've
Oh,
never done that ever before. But we both were just so nervous because he was like these incredible like jazz musicians, like, really, really high quality musicianship. And we just went, mate, sure,
yeah.
we'll go and have
We,
a pint somewhere. Like.
I've never bailed, never bailed. One
That's the
time,
only time I have to say, unless I've been very ill, and that's
bailed.
the only
Yeah,
time. And
there
oh,
was.
I also bailed once when I will go for a breakup with the person I was in the band with. So I was like,
Oh,
yeah, no,
right.
I've hit my quota now,
I
So
think that's acceptable. Um, yeah, there's one time the closest we ever came. We pulled up. It was all kind of like booked online and what have you. Then so we find the venue. It was kind of a little bit out of the way. But when we find the venue, we park up, and as soon as we get like just a little bit closer, we start walking in. It's like everything was white, like inside and outside. It was white, so it was just like really clean for a
that's
start,
cool.
which is
Like,
totally not like our vibe. So it's really clean, and you're looking at the people that are already in there and kind of like what they look like and what they're wearing, and they look like really normal people. It doesn't look like a particularly punk rock kind of venue. I mean, but hey, don't judge a book by its cover and all that, but
yep.
still. Um, and the football was on the big screen, and everybody seemed to be watching, and it's like, what the fuck? This doesn't seem. Is there a back room? Is there an upstairs or something? Is that where we'll be? No, 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 no. And something happened. Oh, the headline band decided to let the venue know there were three bands on, three acts on, and the headliners decided to let the venue know on that evening. Oh, we're double booked. Can we go on earlier and then leg it to other place?
Oof.
Which of course they said yes. Which then meant we went on last. Oh, we really were not going to headline when they're not fucking interested and they've already seen their headliners and stuff. So the first act gets up, solo, acoustic, very, very, very good, very, very good. He was doing like it was he was playing like acoustic guitar, but he was doing like Buster Rhymes
Oh
raps
wow.
and stuff like super fast and aggressive and like doing like percussion kind of shit with the guitar. It was great. and people liked it. Then they saw the band go up, and they were very that sort of '90s Britpop indie. It's good, guitar
Yeah.
music, but it's not kind of as shouty and raw as we were going to be, you know. And everybody loved it, and yeah, everyone was like, "If we just slide off, nobody will fucking care. Like, we're not getting paid for this anyway, you know." Um, they just nobody will care. They've seen the band they came to see, nobody's really going to mind. And we were so close to doing it, and we eventually decided, look, I don't know, it's like a rehearsal. We
Yeah.
didn't have a rehearsal
Yeah.
this week because we didn't want to be burnt out for the gig. So let's just play, just see what happens, see how far we get. Ignore them because they'll be ignoring us, and just get on with it. Run through the set. It's practice, right? It's practice. Okay. And they loved it.
Oh,
Or they were
amazing.
really, really drunk. I don't know. But it was such a surreal experience because for me, it was kind of like for this dirty, smelly, hairy, torn jean punk rocking kid to kind of have the cast of Hollyoaks in front of me trying to mosh and stuff.
Oh,
So I
I
think they
love
kind of
it.
were. It's like, are they taking the piss or are they getting into this? I don't know. I don't care. Let's just do another song until we're done.
Yeah.
But it was kind of fun. When all was said and done, it was actually fun. So I'm glad we stayed.
It was meant to be then, I mean, on the one where we did a runner, they were running very late anyway, so I think we did them a favor in in the long run. But yeah, it was just like my friend is like incredible, honestly. But he's like, yeah, he was just like, yeah, no, it was like, so that was my experience of doing a runner. But we were young, very young then.
Yeah.
But it's always good when I love that about gigging though, is that you just like don't know what you're gonna get. You can walk into a place and you can have like a kind of preconceived idea of what may or may not happen, and you'd be like, okay, cool. You pick it up from the furnishings, the people
Yeah.
in there and stuff, and then before you know it, it can be like they usually surprise you. Like you can go, oh my God, like this is like so different to what I was expecting, and I do have times where I'm like, wow, I'm like, am I in the right place? Like, am I not in the right, but like, am I the right vibe for here?
Yeah.
Because it's been commented quite a lot of times recently that I'm very aggressive on the guitar. Funny that. I don't know whether they'd say the same thing if it were a guy stood up there, because I've seen
Yeah.
plenty of aggressive acoustic players, but like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I took it as a compliment. I was told I play the guitar like a percussion instrument, and I was like, yes, I hit it and noise comes out.
Yes.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do? No, I didn't have lessons.
Well, I had someone quote to me once and go, oh, you'll play guitar like a bloke. I was like, thank you. That's one of the biggest compliments you can give me. And he was like, no, I mean, as in like, you're one with your guitar. And I was like, my guitar is my zone. It's like, I
Yeah.
love that guitar. I love it. It's, so, but, there's always areas to improve on.
Yeah. Well, there's always you get a lot of these strange, kind of backhanded compliments. Does happen. Yeah, we were once told someone once came up to us and they were like, "Oh, that was great, we loved it." Oh, thank you very much. And said, they sounded like real songs, and it's like, so in that split second that you try and not punch them in the throat, because of course they're fucking real songs. Then you kind of get it,
Yeah.
and you go, "Oh, they mean that like we were that good." They thought they didn't think, a local bunch of random weirdos could sound as good as whatever band it is that they like that's signed and been going for years. And we did.
Yeah.
We sounded like we had real songs.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
My favorites are like, when someone stood there like crossed arm and then they're like staring at you. It's like have you seen the thing on Facebook where it's like I can't remember. Oh, it's got lost my mind from my mind now, but it's like I love it when people are there crossed arm like watching everything you're doing and studying you, and I'm like, oh, that's like a huge like compliment. And then yeah, it's interesting. I love watching people. I love people and I love watching people. So I love music. So all in all, I'm doing my dream job, you know.
Yeah, it is. It can be. There's one thing if the lighting's right and everything, so you can't actually see shit. That could be to your advantage to just get on and play to the best of your ability. Because if you can see the audience, that's you lot out there. You're very distracted sometimes, um,
Oh, I love
in
it.
the best
Honestly,
possible way.
I love watching people. It's my favorite thing. I'm like watching that room and I love to see what people are doing. Like, you'll have some people that are having maybe an argument or a bicker between them. You'll have some people like bringing shots in and it's just lovely. Sometimes you do look and go, oh my God, am I
Yeah,
safe here? Like, not very often, but you go like, well, but I mean, I had a huge compliment on Saturday, because sometimes like, it's like anything else you do in your life. Like there are some days where I go, oh, I'm lucky, I'm grateful, I get to gig, but I'm very tired. I'm tired, like sometimes some days I am tired. It does happen.
yeah,
And I don't like to moan because Dolly Parton said that, like, don't moan when you get what you want.
yeah,
So not word for word. I think that might have been a Derbyshire version of, but yeah, it's like sometimes you come in and like I had someone come up to me and go, like, thank you, gave me a massive hug and was like, me and my stepmom haven't spoken, and yet we've been listening to you and we've been dancing together and talking. And I'm like, wow, like that. It's not me that's done that. It's just that
yeah.
it's just how things have happened. But it was massive. Like I cried. So sloppy these days, but yeah, I
Oh,
was like, wow, that's
wow.
made it so worth it. That.
Yeah. I mean the other probably the other greatest compliment, sort of in the form of a short review that we once got. It was that I'm going to redact the name of the band, but the band they said that we were not everyone's cup of tea, but sometimes you don't want tea. Sometimes you want Jaeger shots poured in your eyeballs. I was like, fucking love it. Get it on the t-shirt.
I, I'm just like, it's making me think about there was one band I was in and they did a review of it, and they were like, oh yeah, like I can't remember. I mean, this is some years ago, but they were like, yeah, but the banter wasn't for my taste. And I'm like, that was me. It was my birthday, and I was
Yeah.
very drunk at the time. I'm just like, hence why I don't drink anymore. So it was, but yeah, it made me laugh. It was like complimenting the musicality, and then it was like
Yeah.
the banter wasn't to my taste.
Oh, see, this is how I've ended up here because it got to a point where, like, the between song banter was becoming by far my favourite thing and was going on for far too long.
Oh, yeah, I can be a bit bad for that.
I love it. I love it. And I love to see when I see artists and they do it, they quickly become a favourite, the ones that can do it.
I've noticed I start like doing all that. I don't notice my hands doing it now, but I'll like stand there with my hand on my hip, like talking, and I'm like, what's going off here? Like, I was like, take it with my alter ego.
Yeah. It's, it's, it's how it's going to be. You're going to have that game face. You are you, like, like all artists. It's very honest, it's very personal. Even doing acoustic covers, it's other people's material, but you've chosen which songs you want to do, and you're doing them somewhat in your way. I mean, first of all, straight off the bat, you're doing the acoustic version, not maybe the version that people know. So straight away, then there's the manly way you aggressively play guitar, which might make it a bit different, and obviously your voice and maybe the phraseology, the melody tweaked
Yeah.
slightly just to suit your patters and things, and it just maybe the tempo's a little bit different. You know, there is ways that you make it yours, so it's still a very honest, very personal thing that every artist does when they're up
Yeah.
there, and in and of itself, that is worthy of everyone's respect who's in that room, even if it's not quite to your taste or your cup of tea. But
It,
are
it's funny
you
because
going to get up
it,
there, in
it,
front of all these people and do anything?
it,
Hula
it does
hoop, anything?
make
No.
me laugh. Like, I've had someone, I've had someone go, "Oh, well, you play that in the wrong key." I was like, "Yes, because it's a male vocal. I can't actually reach
Oh,
that low down." Like, I was like, we all do our own, like you were just saying, we all do our own version, and it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but some people don't like tea; they like coffee. It's like it's just
yeah.
a
So
walking.
have you ever watching the audience, as we've established you like to do, has anything going on out there made you sort of made you change the set at all?
I don't have a set list.
No.
Never. I don't use a
Never?
set list. No, I don't. I have my set of songs that I know, and obviously there are some that, tend to go in every gig, but I never ever do a set list anymore because if I did, like my little OCD would be like, I've got to stick to that, whereas I just read the room. That's what I try and do. I don't always get it right. I don't always hit the mark. I sometimes get it wrong. But also with like the gigs that I do, I get a lot of requests as well, and so I just like drop it in. And if you had a set list, it just like be like, oh, I don't know what. So yeah, I don't ever play the same. Well, I don't know what I play. I just like I have it. I've not even got it, but honestly, this scrap of like A4 paper, and it's fallen to pieces. It's in four pieces now. It's like absolutely, and it's my list of songs that I know, and I just put it in my back pocket. I never ever look at it, but it's always there just as like a little comfort blanket. But
I'm,
no, I
I'm
don't.
I'm sure at some point, whether you're watching right now or whether you're checking this out on YouTube over the weekend or something, there's going to be band folks and friends that I know just really scared shitless at the idea of no set list. And I,
It's it keeps me on my toes, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm so
yeah.
thinking about the next move that
So you
sometimes I'm
can't.
like,
All right. So you wouldn't technically change the set list, but as you said, maybe you read it right, maybe you read it wrong. Have you ever sort of, you choose the song, you play it, it's clearly the wrong one,
mhm.
and then it's that next one, and they're all back, and now they're eating out of your hands again.
I do it. It's a bit like I treat it a little like TikTok when I'm watching
Mm.
the audience. Like there's different audiences, so like I say, it depends on the audience. But for example, if I'm playing, say, a 10 o'clock at night starting gig, they're not really that interested in so much banter in between unless it's getting them involved.
Yeah.
What they want is quick choruses. Well, I mean, I don't know if they want that, but that's what I've
Yeah.
observed. And there might be times where you drop, like you start doing a song, and it's a bit like DJing. You get to the chorus and then you flip it into another one because you're like, oh, this isn't quite working. And there's so many times where during a gig, I'll be like starting to play a song and I'm like seeing that there's not much reaction back, and I'm going, what's in the same, like, I don't know the key, I just blag it, but I'm like, what chord. And I've
Yeah.
ended up like, now I do Barbie Girl into Wonderwall. Who thought that would ever be a combination, but it happens quite often now.
Yeah.
So it's just like every gig you're learning, and it doesn't work for that gig sometimes. Like I say, I'm you know I like a rowdy audience.
Yeah. So fantastic. So I'm trying to make sure we do things that we didn't do last time round, which I'm sure there's people only watching this first time round, but that just means I get a few more likes and views on your other previous video. Um,
Eh.
um, so I've started asking people, and God, I'm so jealous and surprised by most people's answers. So we'll see what you do. They say to never meet your heroes, but have you? You ever met any of your celebrity? Well, have you ever met a celebrity? I mean, even if it's I don't know, a reality TV star at an airport or something.
Have you ever seen Location, Location, Location?
Oh God, yeah, years ago.
Good old Kirsty. I sat
That's
next to her on a plane. I think that's about as far as we. I don't know who I've like. Do you know what? To me though, like, I mean, obviously I'm a huge Paul Weller fan, as we established in the last one. That's why I'm saying obviously. But do you know, for me, like, I just think that people as opposed to celebrities, I
yeah,
don't get so excited about it. Do you know what I mean by that? I'm like, oh yeah, if
yeah, and that's exactly that's the exact attitude that the celebrities they want to meet people with that attitude, if possible.
yeah, I mean,
You
they're
know, because
just
the crazy
people.
fangirl is like that's when the police get involved. You know.
I mean, like, I'm sure I was that when I was a young kiddo, but no, I'm just trying to think, really. I don't know. Yeah, I'm
All right,
not
so who
quite
would
sure.
you? So I mean, maybe you're just going to say Paul Weller, maybe not. But so if you could go again, neither of us drink, but that'd be the classic thing to say. So if you could spend an evening with, have a meal perhaps, uh, with a
Ooh,
celebrity, who's coming with you?
that's a really
It'd be
good
good,
question.
dinner conversation, and who'd be
I reckon, so I reckon Emily Sunday would be very interesting to have a conversation with.
gonna have to educate me on who the hell that is.
Um, she's she's done work with Rudimental. She's well, I mean, she's you'll know her songs for sure. They were quite popular at one point. Heaven. I'm not going to sing them to you because I've not warmed my vocals up, you know.
No, no, don't give it away
But
for free. Don't give it away for free.
um, yeah, I'm trying to. But yeah, read all about. I think she did that song. Read. But yeah, she's a pianist. Beautiful singer, amazing songwriter, and she also studied to be a doctor. So I think it would be a very interesting conversation. Yeah, this, that was a random one. I don't know where that one came from, but it came.
Yeah. Well, this is it. People always do this. It's over the course of the year I've been doing this, or almost a year that I've been doing this. Yeah, the people that are like, I'm not that interesting. I ain't got much to say. What I've discovered is it must be that people aren't asking you the right questions. You know,
Yeah,
or the other people that you talk to, and I don't know, are really bad at talking. Personally, I don't think it's that complicated a thing to do. Because everyone I've had on has been ridiculously interesting, at least to me, and that's all that really matters. So okay, well, so on celebrities, uh, have you got, or maybe even would you like to try for the first time, inspired, a celebrity impersonation?
oh, oh my gosh.
Did you ever?
Hey, you know, with this hat, have you seen Chicken Run? Don't, don't that gravy.
Brilliant, fantastic.
And I cannot take credit for that because everyone in Canada used to take the mick out of me. Don't like gravy because of my accent.
Yeah.
Even though I think
No,
she's got a Lancashire accent,
they
not a
don't
Derbyshire.
take the mick out of you in Canada. They're too nice in Canada
Oh,
to take the mick out of it. They don't do
they
that.
have a brilliant sense of humour.
They do have a brilliant sense of humour. And if they offend you, they're sorry about that. So it's all good. Yeah. Go Canada. Love Canada. Really want to go to Canada. It's a bucket list. It doesn't seem like that exotic or particularly special to a lot of people I know, but
Ah,
for a
it,
very poor local boy that has done fuck all, Canada is a yeah. if I could travel, it's one of the top tier places that I want to go.
Oh, you got to go. I love it. It's a place that is very close to my heart. I love it, and I'm trying to like plan a trip out there again very soon. So
I'm only
um,
small. I may class as hand luggage, just
yeah,
saying.
yeah. But it's insane though. Like when I was flying back home. Well, it's not important whether, but I was flying back to Canada actually from England, and I was talking to these guys on this plane, and they'd literally flown from Calgary to London for a weekend and flew back. I was like, wow, like just for a few drinks and then flew back. I was like, anything's possible if you
Yeah,
want it, you know?
yeah. Yeah, oh, now the other half live. Or is it the other half? I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna be a oh, disgusting. I don't know what I've got, but you don't want it.
Hopefully, they
Um,
don't come through screens. We're all right.
no, no. I mean, I've heard computers can get viruses, but I don't think it
So
works
not that
quite like
kind
this.
of.
I, I
I
think I think it's more people who actually think there are free cookies or brownies available, or really do think the Indian prince wants to marry him or whatever. So, other than that, I think it's okay.
yeah, we're all right, I think. But I have like 31 gigs to do in December, so I'm just like praying that I'm fit and healthy.
That's that's there's good. That's some double duty days in there as well, isn't there? I guess.
That is, I'm having Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. That's what that is.
So see, the luxurious leisurely lifestyle of these these pop stars, these rock chicks, and it's like she's kind of putting the same work in as I don't know the fucking emergency workers and nurses and firemen and
Do
shit.
you know whose work-life balance I would love to have? Adele. She just like she writes an album. What is it? Every 7 years or something? I don't know. Like, and then each time she has a glow up, I'm like, yes, girl. Like, and she writes some amazing songs. But yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it's the whole like you've got to let people miss you and then
yeah,
kind of thing. You said some people are like on it and they can be huge, and then there's a huge backlash because
yeah,
you just, frankly, you're sick of the fucking sight of
yeah. I feel like I'm probably that in the local area here. But when I say December's 31 gigs, most of them are not in my hometown. So yeah, I've landed with that one.
yeah. So I think we probably asked this before, but I'm going to ask it again anyway. Is there anywhere you haven't played that you'd really like to, whether it's just a country or a particular venue, perhaps?
Well, I found it hilarious. I feel like last time, did I say that I wanted to play the Cavern again?
Probably, yeah.
I feel
I
like I
think
did, didn't
so,
I?
yeah.
And then I ended up doing it. I was like, oh, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, whenever I did anything ever so slightly might be regarded as high profile, and people kind of go, "How'd you do that? How'd you pull that off? How's that happening?" It's like, well, ask. It's like it's just work. They have phone numbers, email addresses. You ask, and they have dates free, and they book you because you're a band, they're a venue. It's like, what did you think? Like, you just had to go on your business, and then somebody would kind of tap you on the shoulder and say, oh, I actually run this prestigious venue, and I'd like you to play, and whisk you away from the sticky floored shithole where you currently are, and take you off to, like, no, you just do the work.
I,
You kind of
I mean, for
make
me,
it happen, just book it. It's
I think it's just like I love a good quirky venue. I love, um, so yeah, that is. I mean, moving into 2025, I'd love to play some like bigger stages and doing more of my kind of original stuff. But I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now. So, you know, um, It'd be
Yeah,
cool.
but the original stuff. So at the minute, you feel like I've wrote the thing, I've recorded the thing. So once I release the thing, people hear the thing, and I get the response for the thing. Then almost that might be enough. It's kind of out your system, or
No,
you really
that
dig
reminded me of
into.
Little Britain, by the way. I started it, wrote the
Or
feature.
do you really want to play the thing? Do you want to perform
No, I
this
want to
album?
perform it. So there
Yeah,
is like there is a method in the madness. I think there is anyway. But no, I'm just trying to get a body of work because for me, it's like, of course, I'd love to have it on vinyl or just out there for people to enjoy. But for me, I love being on stage, and I love, for me, creating an experience. So that is the ultimate goal for me, is to create a beautiful experience for people to, and my favorite word that I've not actually used yet, for the audience to connect
there it is.
with me and with themselves, but more importantly with themselves, is that like, you go and watch a film and you like, I went to watch Paddington last night and ended up crying. It's that sort of thing. Create an
Oh,
experience. Oh
okay.
yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I lost you there on my end for a bit.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. But all I was saying was just that I think I want to create. I've got to stop saying I think. I know that I want to create an experience, and like a full experience of visuals and putting on a show, because that's what
Yeah,
I ultimately went and was following music for. Is it's music's one element of it, but I loved watching how people move across the stage, how you
yeah,
can put emotion forward through just for your body language and how you're singing it. Oh, it's just that for me.
and
I
it's
love watching
yeah,
it.
and that's going to be like a whole other skill set for you
Oh
to
yeah,
learn, isn't it? The performing those songs
yeah, yeah.
would be a completely different animal, really.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one thing that I'll have to do, or not have to, but I'm looking at doing, is no guitar. I've
Yeah,
never, ever, ever, ever sang without a guitar around my neck, live in front of people.
yeah,
So I don't even like karaoke for that.
I,
So this,
yeah. I know that's gonna be so fucking weird. Even just a few times, just a few times. I've never done it like for reals, but a couple of times at friends' bands gigs, and they've cajoled me into you come up and sing this one. I always fuck it up.
yeah,
Um, and just like what did what, so weird. So
it
like you
is.
said, you become incredibly self-conscious of your body shape and how awkward it is and how am I stood and and why am I stood like this and does the guy in the front row really want my crotch there right now, and you're trying to remember the words at the same time and
Yeah, it's kind of like the guitar or the bass is like there to act as a distraction from yourself. It's like that's your
yeah,
distraction, and then you're focusing on what you're singing and the lyrics and stuff. But yeah, I've done it. I tell a lie, I've jumped up on a open mic when I was at Oz for a couple of songs. But yeah, yeah, it's kind of
yeah, it's
something that I
yeah,
need to practice.
yeah, because you're gonna, like you say, you're gonna want to get it right. You're gonna
Oh
get
yeah, for
it,
sure.
right for yourself because you've got to become first and foremost. You're going to need to be super comfortable with what you're doing. It'd be up to people if they actually like it or not, which I'm sure they will.
Oh,
But
I'm I'm telling you lies right now. So the song "Run Away," "Run Away," "Run Away," "Run Away." I actually have performed that at a couple of my own gigs. Like I've just got used my little phone and stuff and sang on it, and I was like, oh my God, this feels weird. like, I'm like, I don't know, and I was like doing some weird dance, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, but yeah, you're probably going to need to do a lot of that,
Yeah.
like a lot of uncomfortable
So if we have
weirdness.
any choreographers out there as well, I need you.
Yeah,
Like,
whether it's like in the privacy of your own giant car, or or sort of an open mic or a karaoke or whatever, or somewhere, or a rehearsal studio
yeah.
or something. Maybe film this shit, watch yourself back, cringe all the way through it, of course. But
It, I
like
do
force
you cringe?
yourself. You're probably gonna, if you're anything like me, you're just gonna hate it every second of it, watching yourself, and it's all gonna be wrong. But I
Yeah,
think if you kind of force yourself to keep doing it and then keep like watching it back, you probably start to realize, because I'm only doing what comes naturally.
yeah,
I'm moving to the music, and it's my music.
yeah,
You know, and I'm moving that way, and actually, it's all right. I'm not Jennifer Lopez. I'm not supposed to be.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm LXYT. So,
And that's
and
it. That's
I
also
move that way.
interesting. Introducing myself as that, like, I was like, oh, But no, it's the album that I'm working on is there's some really personal songs on there, and I mean, Runaway. It came about like so I've been working with Dan, the producer. He's Danny Burton. He's brilliant. Like I was playing around with a chord, and he was like, "Oh, I love that vibe." Like so, he created like some music, and I was like, "I've got this lyric from a different chord sequence that I had," and it was like, "Do you ever feel like you don't belong?" And I was like, I feel that needs to go in there. And then I was walking the dog, and it was like the runaway bit come, and then I was in the shower, and it was like, ooh, doo, doo, doo. It was like, so it came from all different bits. Runaway. It wasn't just like a sit down and write it. It was and the second verse, Dan was like, "You are terrible for procrastinating, Lex. You're terrible for it. Like you're so bad." And I'm so bad. I have to apologize to Dan because he has to put up with a lot with me, honestly. Like, and he went and made a cup of tea, and he was like, "By the time I get back, you'll need to have written that second verse." And I was like, "Oh my God, what's gonna go?" And I was like, "What about this one? Buy the house, get the dream job, wondering where happiness comes from." Because these are all the questions that me and my friends have conversations about, and yeah, it's like, especially with the traveling side of things, I have to admit, like I've been running away from myself for the last 5 years, but you can't run away from you because you take yourself with you wherever you go. You can distract yourself. There's plenty of ways to do that, but yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
runaway,
So
runaway.
um, so here we are connecting again. We love that word. We're not just connecting. Somebody's
Connecting.
been cupping.
Coffee.
I've seen.
Yes.
How's that? Does that work? And I've seen it as a very sort of. I've seen more and more people, doing it. So it's definitely sort of on trend.
I mean, it
The last
depends
couple of
what sort of
years.
cupping we're on about, because um, no. So today, my wonderful friend Emily, but believe it or not, we went to school together. It was crazy, but yeah, I was like, my shoulders are so sore at the minute, like from standing in that position
Yeah.
for like So she'd like. And she was like, "Get ready, you're gonna look like you've got a love bite on my neck." And I was like, "Thank you for that. I've got to go and gig this weekend. No tying my hair up or anything." But it comes keen. I mean, I've like, because I had a knee operation and stuff. I'm kind of used to having the suction cups,
Right.
or I mean, in some very interesting places, and acupuncture and big needles in places that I don't ever want to have needles again. But here sounds interesting, doesn't it? But no, the cupping is just to bring the blood to the surface,
Yeah.
isn't it, to heal. Um, the myofascia, is it? I can't remember. I do. I find it fascinating, the body and I'm a geek for the self-help stuff, you know.
Yeah, which to the point that you will even be invited to summits.
Yep.
But let's let's tell the kids about what it's like to be asked to contribute to a healing summit.
Well, like, do you know, for me that I cry. Oh, me and my crying. But this is a person that didn't used to cry, and now I cry at everything,
Everything.
happy, sad, you know. But that to me was a huge honor. Like, it's massive because that is what the bigger why with everything is that I want to create a bit of beauty in the world, and like I say, if the songs I put out and I've been lucky enough to receive and put out, if they can help someone, and because we heal when we connect, and we heal when we're seen and heard and truly accepted for who we are, and I think that's just the top and bottom of healing. I don't think, there's a big industry that makes a lot of money through healing, kind of like,
Yeah.
but everything has its place, and we all intuitively know. This is a belief of mine, so it might not be to everyone's cup of tea, and I certainly am not being. I walked around Birmingham the other day, and the amount of preachers that were out there, and I'm like, oh my god, no, that's too much. But if this lands with someone, amazing. If it doesn't, chuck it in the fuck it bucket. I like that one. But I think you intuitively, deep down, know how to heal yourself, and we all have a program that within ourselves that if we tap into, that we intuitively know. So what might work for me might not work for you, and stuff. So I think it's being part of something, healing summit, is big for me. Like, and that's another reason as well that I've set up the LXYT away from Lexi Whiteside, because I also wanted to be quite open about my sexuality, that's huge for me. With someone that was very ashamed about who they are, in both healing aspect, sexuality, all of it. Very, very, like, if you just spoke to me a couple of years ago, and I wouldn't be able to talk about any of this. So yeah, like, that's why I kind of set up that as a side, because it was a fear that was stopping me from doing what I want to do as well. I don't know if that makes
Yeah,
sense, but
no, I think the more we all do talk about it, just
yeah,
talk, communicate, connect. Like I said, what works for me isn't for you, but by being by creating the safe spaces that we can feel brave enough.
yeah,
It's not. It's just what I'm trying to work on. That it's not overly selfish or egotistical to talk about me
no,
and my feelings and my what I want, because it's by saying it connects. Someone else goes, yeah, yeah, that's me too. A lot of people, it's not them, but like if it's just that one person that goes, that's me. If maybe I can articulate it, in a way that they've been struggling to,
but
then that'd be
isn't that
great.
what humanity? Um, look at look at our human history, and look at, like, in caves they had pictures that tell stories. You've got, the Bible, the Quran. These tell stories. It's all, we have films, music, um comedy, speak, all of it is storytelling, art, everything. That's all that, like, we as humans connect to stories, and that's
Yeah,
what we deeply
because
love.
they're all forms of self-expression.
Hmm.
They're not.
Yeah,
It's however they say, whether it's like a novel or a movie, but it's it's art, any art form, but it's however fictional or whatever the characters might be, the fucking space aliens, superheroes, whatever. But the person who's writing this shit, is drawing on real life stuff, is
yeah.
drawing on themselves to to get this out there, the good stuff anyway, which stands out a mile between like, and especially you can, or I feel like you can sniff this out with music with bands really really easily. I can go to a venue, I can hear maybe two songs tops. Sometimes I'm maybe a bit harsh and it might be two chords, but I'll be nice and say two songs. And I feel you can tell people are like, we want to be in this kind of band because this kind of band is popular and this kind of band sounds like this. And they're like
Yeah.
following this blueprint of how it is to be in a band and which haircut down to what hairstyle you've got to have or whatever. And they're nailing it, but they're shit. That to me, there's no soul, in this thing. There's no self-expression. There's no art, you know you saw something, maybe you thought it's better than getting a proper job, maybe you thought you'd make money, maybe you will, sadly, unfortunately. From it, I sound like an horrible git maybe, but like sometimes it works, but there's no soul. And you go see something else, and I think it's really easy to tell that they like just have a passion and the integrity, and however much it's, you're going to kind of sound like your influencers because they influence you. So there's going to be an obvious connective thread. You're going to kind of go like, oh, sounds like a bit like whatever, but you're going to be able to see past that, and you're going to see themselves, and,
Yeah,
and
I guess
that's what it is.
you're
And
talking
if
about.
it's photography, if it's movie making, if it's music, it's any art. If you're making a fucking vase, right, or an ashtray, you put some of your soul into that. Or the great artists all do. By great artists, I don't necessarily mean ones making millions of dollars. I mean ones that are great artists. There is a difference.
Well, I suppose like Rick Rubin talks a lot about this with art. It's like a synergy of everything you've experienced, every song, every bit, and I guess like even the ones, I think you were saying, the ones that don't feel authentic in what they're doing, and that they're just running through the motions. I guess that in itself still tells a story of the
Of
people
who they are,
on the
yeah.
stage.
It tells you who they are, and it tells me I'm not going to be friends with these people. But to be fair, it may be a stepping stone. It may be a place to start, and they may get bored with that. They may see it for what it is,
Yeah.
and then start really creating. That can and does happen.
I,
But,
I find it
but I can
fascinating.
always see when a band or an artist is kind of in that phase, and I always just hope they become a more genuine
I
creator
find
somewhere down the line.
I find the tribute. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but I find the tribute acts like fascinating. Like that for me doesn't work right now, but like I find it fascinating how people genuinely like eat and live and breathe, um, do music, and not just music, but just like they live the whole persona and they do it very well. I find it like fascinating. I think that's a huge skill. Like I think that's harder than being like
Yeah,
a,
the ones that go that, oh, we're talking about a tribute act that's really, like I say, all in
oh, it's
on this shit.
amazing.
But there are an awful lot of tribute acts, as in they just pick some clothes up off the floor, go to the gig, and they know a set worth of songs from that one artist. You know,
Yeah.
instead of playing, a cool mixed set list of Barbie Girl and Wonderwall or whatever,
All,
they just
all the favorites.
all they do is play Aqua for 2 hours, and call themselves a tribute act, but without any of the hair or pizzazz that actually Aqua did have and were really good. I've seen them live and I enjoyed the shit out of it. I don't mind saying. Um, I
Yeah.
think we once saw a Meatloaf tribute and they were fucking awful. They were like really good players by all accounts, but yeah, they weren't a tribute. They just played Meatloaf songs for 2 hours and they played them well.
Yeah.
But I think to cross that line to be a tribute, that means find a fat, sweaty guy, find some ruffled shirts. Do you know what I mean? Like, it can't be me. I can't be that guy, even if I had the voice, which, God, I mean, no. But You
It,
know, I can't really be that guy. Not to be a real authentic tribute act. You know, I could maybe do a Charles Manson tribute act, and that's not. I don't think anybody really wants that.
no, it's just, I just think, I think the more I like, because I still don't feel like I'm even scratching the surface of the music industry. Like it's a huge industry, but I think there's like space for so much in that industry, and I think I think so many. I know that when I was young, I was put off by so much, and I think there's these blocks that are presented to people that there isn't money to be made in the music if that's your driver then. But I don't know, there's such a huge array of space for different people to fill, and
Yeah,
express themselves. And yeah, it'd be cool to see more kind of. I was looking back, like I say, I've been like searching through my belongings, trying to like get it down to one box. But yeah, I was like looking at my first band's posters and stuff, and I was like thinking about the venues that we used to play at, and I'm like, wow, for like 16-year-olds now, they are having to do it online or go out busking now. That seems to be, I've seen a lot of
yeah,
that around, like, but there isn't so much opportunity for them to be out playing. Because like a lot of the open mics you need to be 18 plus and stuff, and by that point people have gone off to uni and
yeah,
stuff. It's
yeah,
yeah, I think that's like now I've kind of put some roots down again. I would like to do some more community kind of work because I think I take from the music industry, but I want to give it back. It's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because it can be done. It
it
can be done.
can be done.
Right now, right now. I mean, you know, 31 gigs in 31 days, coming up in December. So, but that's the thing. That's what would be great to have some sort of like your community workshops and things to have people perhaps like yourself just to speak for a while. So like it can be done,
Yeah,
but it's work. Let's not kid people. It's a fucking job, right? It's
yeah.
work. It's God knows it beats working in a factory,
I,
but
I tell you what though,
it's
I come
still
across.
work. Be willing and prepared to put in some serious work. Hopefully, you like to think you get out what you put in.
Yeah, but it, it's kind of like I'm I meet a lot of musicians that moan a lot, and I'm like, man, like seriously, myself included, I can moan. Don't get me wrong, like not very often to the outside world. I'll moan to myself, but like there are times where like I said earlier, there are times where you're just like, oh, I could just easily have a night in having a cup of tea.
Yeah,
But um, like I feel very lucky and very privileged, and I never ever take that for granted. Like I am very lucky, and I know what it's like to be going to a 9 to 5. Um, I don't know about factory work. I've not done that. You're the expert on that, but I've done the 9 to 5. I've done a lot of like different roles, and like my family are all like dead worried, be like, why have you taken on that many? I was like, oh, they've just kind of landed. I've just kind of taken them on. I don't know how it is. I feel like Katie O'Brien's are wonderful. They just took me a load of gigs in different venues, but so I have to give a shout out to them. I'm lucky. But yeah, like I was like in the ski industry, I worked like a whole month back to back in -20, minus, like it's just, although I would say to someone have some work-life balance or work-life harmony. I like that
yeah,
phrase.
yeah. I mean, yeah, probably said this last time as well, but I heard someone once say that they kind of one of their measurements of success, as much as you can
Yeah.
quantify something like that, was they felt like they'd started becoming successful when they felt they could say no,
Oh, I
when they
like that.
when they could turn work down, when they could actually
Yeah.
go, you know what, don't fancy it. I want tea and biscuits tonight. You know, and it was okay, and they felt like it won't just completely blow all the progress, and it won't diminish my image, and it won't affect me negatively at all. In fact, I'll maybe be a bit recharged, and the next gig will be phenomenal because I've had a bit of a rest. You know,
I
and I, thought,
see that.
I see the logic, definitely.
I definitely like, it's. I think sometimes, like, I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know how many people I speak to get this observation from, but I think sometimes people, because it's humans, we're driven for comfort more than it's what we do. But
Yeah.
there is a lot of groundwork to get to that point as well, and I think that is like a huge marker of success is, you know,
Yeah, I mean, have you felt any extra layer of bullshit or obstacles by being a woman?
oh yeah,
Or yeah,
yeah, like there's pros and cons. So we talked earlier about my aggressive guitar playing and stuff, but that in itself and me giving the banter, like I think it's not so common so
mm,
much with women. Um, so sometimes that plays to your strength, but sometimes I see the shock on people's faces. It's like, and I don't know whether they'd have that same shock factor if a guy was saying some of the stuff,
yeah,
or I don't know. Like I like to think no, but I think sometimes I'm going to go deep here, okay? But I think some of the societal conditioning of women can be their own barriers, like my own barriers to me getting to where I am, where I want to be, um, is about picking apart my own conditioned barriers, if that makes sense. Not necessarily an external barrier, which
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure they may be, but
yeah. So,
it's
so you felt that there are things, aspects that you can do, that you are capable of doing, but at least for a time, maybe you thought that you shouldn't, that you're not supposed to,
Mhm.
and you've had to kick that door down. You've actually put that wall up for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think so. And also, like, um, I do, and I've heard this from someone that I was close to. They had a guitar teacher, and they're like, a guy can be good, but a woman has to be great.
yeah,
And I don't know. I think like I say, there's swings and roundabouts to everything, and I don't. I think the more focus you put on it, sometimes you give energy to it, and it's like, as opposed to looking at the solution of what.
yeah, yeah. Very true. I think again, it's the thing. I see the logic because there are those ridiculous barriers in the way. The conditioning. The
Yeah.
social conditioning. That's a great way of looking at it. That we have to that we're even having this conversation in almost 2025 is fucking ridiculous. Frankly, it just shouldn't be a thing. You know, all the women that have gone before that have led up to Lexi Whiteside and some other of my friends doing what you do, and looking to do more and more and bigger and greater things with the original material and what have you. And it's like, also whether it's like we were talking about Dusty Springfield a couple of weeks ago with a guy, or like whether it's Aretha Franklin, Joni Mitchell, Patti Smith. I don't know. They have to keep going. Whether if it's fucking Beyonce or Rihanna or whatever, it's like we keep trying, and what's it gonna take to get there?
Yeah.
You know,
It,
it it's mind blowing that we're not there. Sometimes it's just ridiculous. I mean, maybe it's a bit hypothetical, but let's 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 say like it might even occur right now. I don't know, but perhaps let's put in a hypothetical, like the album's out and it's promoted and there's a show sorted You have the show idea, and that's, it's a thing, and you're gathering some momentum, and people like it. Like I say, there's a lot of there's the heart and soul, blood, sweat, tears poured into. There's doing the work, there's making the music, there's the lyrics. It's all very personal and all that, and it's great, and you'd love it because people like it. But there's a percentage of people who just think you're hot.
Oh,
They don't
I
know
feel
any of the
that.
lyrics. They don't fucking care, right? You know, there's a
I don't. Who are these
percentage of
people?
a percentage, but there will be a percentage of your audience, wants to look at the pretty girl. A problem that I think every sort of female artist faced. Whatever you do, like I say again, you could be making ashtrays,
Yeah.
right?
It,
And a certain, hopefully, a relatively maybe non-applicable small amount, but a percentage of your success will come from the fact that a certain amount of mainly guys, but some women too, find you attractive, not think you're very good at your art form.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it applies to men too.
I
Um, but
think. I think. I,
I think
thi-
it applies to women on a much larger scale.
I think you've just got me thinking about a conversation I had. Abbey Road, famous recording studio. You know that they don't have any female sound engineers, not
Right.
one. And
Well, I mean, if that's just coincidence, I have to
it's
imagine if it,
but
it's
if
not
you
going to be
look at
on
the music,
purpose, is it?
if you have a look at the music industry, there is very few women in it in comparison
Yeah.
to male, and that is the music industry. Like I was having a look at because there's I follow if any females are interested in learning music production or anything, there's music production for women. There's like a group and they do courses and stuff, but yeah, they put a lot of facts up, and like I say, I don't really like to kind of like look at it too much because I think
Yeah.
you can give energy to that, and like I say, it's nicer to look at solutions. But yeah, it's a little sad, isn't it, sometimes? And I know I know from having been brave enough to have conversations about money, I know that sometimes and not always, but sometimes um I became aware that for a solo act, I wasn't getting the same as some of my male counterparts. But on the flip side, I like look because they've been more established.
There's always an exit. Yeah, but
Yeah,
why are they more established? Because they got more gigs, they took more chances on them because they were men in the first
they
place. It is
they
how
just
they
been going
managed to
longer and
get more
stuff.
established.
Yeah, but it is interesting because I think yeah, this is for me personally. I think I think the boundaries of saying no and stuff like that also is something that I'm learning as well. But I think as women, we are conditioned to be people pleasers, and I think men are in their own way as well, like in a different way. But it is very interesting that, and that's just my opinion. But
Yeah, I
there's a
mean,
lot of
a constant a constant pet peeve of my musical youth, if you want to pass the duchy anywhere. That's old people will get that. Um, but was like was playing a fantastic set. Was playing these songs that I was fairly proud of. I was proud enough to go play them in public, So like
yeah,
that I'd written that were either deeply personal, emotional, or somewhat political at times. So I felt like I've got a message. I've got something to say. Damn it,
yeah.
you know. And then there's also some some music behind it that kind of gets your head banging and your toes tapping and and we put on a show, not the kind of I learned to not just stand there and play at you. I'm playing for you upon a show, and I really think like we nailed it. We played really well. That's that's what we wanted to achieve, 100% sorted. Now, obviously, people can like it or not like it, and you seemed like it's a generally a positive response. you feel you've got. So you're happy until the next band gets up and they have a female front person, singer, front man. They have a female front man, makes no sense. They have a female singer, and, she's not wearing very much. Or, it's a part of the rock scene. She's all, gothed up. It's all
Yeah.
fishnet stockings and leather miniskirts or whatever. And inevitably, there's way more people coming away from the bar and wanting to stand down the front, you know? And when she bends over to read the set list, because they have set lists, because they're not as good as you know, that goes down quite well, you know? And they're incredibly average at best.
Yeah.
She's not a great singer. They're not a great band. Maybe they've not been doing it that long. They could become absolutely phenomenal, but by all accounts. But like right now, there's these three hairy men that played, half an hour earlier, were so much better, if I'm allowed to say so, you know. But the sex appeal, because this
Yeah,
this ain't sex appeal apparently.
I think
Um,
it's, I
it
mean,
definitely, so they, sold more t-shirts. They had more people up and dancing around the handbags. They sold more CDs if they had any, and they got booked to come back, next month. We did not, no matter how fucking good we were, and we were good. And this happened more times, enough times to make me a little more than a bit salty.
yeah, that's what I was saying though. Like there's always, I mean, the saying is two sides of the coin, but there's always three versions of truth, isn't there, as well, and
Yeah,
perspective. And I think, there are biases, and that may be positive bias or negative bias, or I think it's just part of human nature that occurs. But what I would say is, if she enjoyed wearing next to nothing and she embraced it, and that
yeah,
was what she was doing, then that's amazing. But if she was just strategically wearing next to nothing, then you lose a part of yourself when you're doing stuff not for you, just
yeah.
to get an external
Yeah, I
validation.
mean, I always felt like if I have a sort of a backstage or yeah, backstage as if we played venues that had backstage areas. But if I'm having an after gig rant, it's like my issue isn't with the band. Who
Yeah,
That's what they
yeah,
want to do, and they're happy and they're having tons of fun and they look like they're all friends and enjoying it. It's fucking great. It's the audience reaction that's pissing me off. It's how it's that easy
yeah,
to get that if we wanted. We could advertise for we're a three piece. We could get in another guitarist and specifically advertise female guitarist wanted.
yeah,
Or I could stop singing because, well, I can't fucking sing. We're just getting away with it because it's punk rock and nobody's paying too much attention. We could do that. Within a matter of weeks, we could be them.
yeah,
But better because we are a better band. So we'd have that. We could do that. But as you say, to really be so contrived,
yeah,
that want ad is never going up. Not that I wouldn't want to work, and I have worked with female musicians, and they've been fantastic. But if that's just the natural way of things, the people that you meet, the people who answer the
yeah,
advert, because I would never ask for a female or a male band member if I needed band members.
yeah,
I wouldn't ask. Even when I used to see adverts, I kind of understand asking for a particular age range where you think you want people around your own age so you've got things in common or whatever. But then at the same time, ultimately, I want to be in the best band I can be in. And if this guy that's older than me or younger than me is a really fucking good player, writer, singer, drummer, whatever, then I kind of want to be in a band with them. You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So I
It's It is interesting. I mean, like it's a topic to be talked about, isn't it? I mean, because and each scenario, without sounding too much like a politician here, but each scenario brings up its own solution and problems and stuff. But um, yeah, I find it really interesting the amount of gigs that I turn up to. I don't know if any other females experience this, but they always assume that I have a male counterpart with me. They always assume that, oh, what, you're on your own? What, you're on your, like, there's a real shock
Yeah,
factor that I'm on my own and stuff. Now, I don't think that's just me that receives that. It's like they're shocked that I haven't got anyone with me. I'm rocked in with my own guitar and stuff, that fascinates me too. Like at one point maybe in my life when I was like quite an angry little feminist at times, like I just find it interesting now. Like it's the only way you can change it is by doing it and leading by
yeah,
example, isn't it? And I mean, my hope is that, like, not just for females, but for males, and not just for anyone. If they see someone doing something that they want to do and it inspires them and gives them permission to 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 follow their dream and to, like, gives them hope, then that that's all you can do in life, isn't it? And by you doing what you're doing, like by having hosting like talks and stuff, if that inspires one person today, then man, that's like the best feeling, I think. And you might not ever know if that ever did inspire anyone. They might not ever tell you, but to have that impact, isn't that, all you can do against what may seem unfair and unjust at times. I think, I've worked in the legal system, I've worked in
yeah.
the benefit system, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's partly, I mean, it's just generally to put a real general sort of umbrella on things. It image over content might be a way
Mm,
of putting it. It is a thing that it just is. Yeah, it's a real pet peeve for me. And
yeah,
how
I get that.
ridiculously nothing seems to be more successful than mediocrity.
Yeah,
Is another thing I found myself saying quite often lately. Because it seems because when people are really good at something, it's almost like, what's that? Because it's so good, it's almost scary or intimidating or something. And when something's like okay, people are kind of more comfortable with it, you know?
but that goes back to, like, humans, that we like familiarity, and that's where we go back to, is our comfort zones. And it's just sometimes the thing that we might not be ready for the virtuoso, or we might not understand it at this point, but give it a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and it comes back, or someone else has that idea, then it drops completely differently. It might, like, blow up, and you see those patterns occur.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
with science, with all sorts, really. It is like there's the time for things, isn't there? But yeah, I feel like I mean, this is my fear, and I've had it this week. I've been really, like, sat with this. I, I've always, like, accepted that I am mediocre. That's like how and then I'm like, yeah, but it's like you just trying to control that a little bit, in that, like, you're controlling the outcome by going, oh yeah, I'm just mediocre. And I've, like, felt so stale last couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's needing to
It,
grow.
yeah, no, it's this is a thing I'm finding out for myself way too late. So I'm trying to like pass it on at every possible opportunity. That it a bit of ego is okay. You know, it can be a fine line between confident and arrogant. You
Mhm.
know, but it's a line worth walking. If you're any again, because this is what we do here. It's especially with art. If you're producing art and you want to put it out there, it's just a ridiculously brave thing to do. And everybody who does that, I did it for a little bit. I don't know if this really counts as that, but because you are putting that piece of yourself out there, whatever it might be, ashtray, music, movie.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just an incredibly brave thing to do, and you should be proud of it. And when it's kind of gone, it's gone. It's all some people have a way of like, it's not mine anymore. Now I've given it to theirs, so they can like it or dislike it, and I really don't care because it's kind of not mine anymore
Yeah,
anyway. Some people use that. I was maybe too precious, maybe still am a little bit over something that's mine that has like my name on it.
yeah,
That whatever anyone thinks of that, they're thinking of me. I'm still maybe a little too precious with it. I don't know. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do these things, but having a bit of ego, allowing yourself to agree, to admit, I am actually quite good at this. They were all singing along. That was real. It happened.
yeah.
The dogs were dancing, right? The, the dogs were dancing for me. It's okay.
That's
Enjoy
no way
that.
to speak
Embrace that,
about my
you know?
audience, That's no way to speak about. Oh, sorry, you meant the actual dog books.
The
Yeah,
canines were
yeah.
dancing. It's okay. It's okay to accept that and enjoy that, revel in it, embrace it.
It's
Get more of it because it's good shit.
it's it's interesting, isn't it? I must say that all the time. Interesting. I've got to change it. I've got to find a new way of saying that. But I am reading a book called Worthy, by Jamie Lee Kerner. Yeah, I think that's. Oh my God, it's no way. Just names I'm terrible with.
It's
Um,
all right, Brenda. It's all right.
but saying like there's four things we need as humans, and I mean there's lots of different theories on this, but to fulfillment, to feeling fulfilled is, and of course it's going to drop out of my head, but there's self-worth, self-confidence, growth, and contribution. There you four. But your multiplier is your self-worth. So you can be a high achiever, because that's your self-confidence is like you're achieving. You've got the skills, you've got this. Then you've got contribution is that you like, even if it's a conversation with someone or a smile or, you donated to charity or it doesn't have to, it can be small or you've gone and helped out somewhere or helped someone carry the shop, whatever it is. And then you've got the growth, which, we all need to grow. Like that's what we're here to we're growing whether we want to or not, But then you have like your multiplier, which is your self-worth. And I mean, and if your self-worth is zero times anything, it doesn't matter. Like, so you can be a high achiever and still feel empty as like, and I've been there and I'm starting to try and learn
Yeah, I
to
mean,
have that
because
thing.
you can have achievements coming out the wazoo, but if these are, again, the societal brainwashed achievements, what you think you're supposed to do, what you think your goal is supposed to be, because it's
Or
what
not
they
even.
expect of you, what they want of you, and
I
you
know.
can hit that, and it's
I
never going to feel all that great, no
even if
matter how
I
high you get.
I think actually, even if it's what you really deeply want to do and you set yourself a goal, if you don't actually remotely care about yourself or accept yourself or have any self-worth, even if it's the goal that you deeply want and you achieve it, you're still going to feel empty. So it doesn't matter whether it's a societal pressure of a goal or I think whatever goal you set yourself, when you achieve something, you may revel in it for a minute, 3 minutes. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked hard towards a goal and gone like, oh, when I'll be happy when I hit that, and then I've gone off on a tangent here, but yeah, it's even if it's the goals you deeply want to do, it can still feel empty if you don't have like some self acceptance and self worth and that's not reliant on an external achievement. I think it's, it's just as you are, that you're worthy of love, you're worthy of being here, worthy of that you're here just to be you, and you don't have to do anything to yeah. That's me preaching. So,
And on that insightful, deep, wonderful note, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna let you go. Um, what I've worked out since the last time we met is I've worked out how to actually end these things.
what?
Yeah, it's because they're just kind of insane drivel and rambling, and eventually somebody's battery goes flat. So I've worked out it's way cooler and way better to watch back. I now have a catchphrase, right?
Oh,
Get this, yeah, but I don't say it. You do.
I do.
Yeah,
I've got to say it.
we've started to think I'd sign off every show now. I just want the guest. You can do this however you like. You could sing it. You could shout it. You could you know whatever emotion you want to put to it. You could do it in a celebrity impression if you had one. Other than chicken. Um, but yeah, if you just look into that camera for me, and if you could just tell the kids at home, till next time, keep it foxy.
Oh, till next time, keep it foxy.
Oh, there you go. Well, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for finding the time to spend in my
Thank
little
you,
corner of the internet.
and thank you
And
to anyone that's like tuned in, and
yeah,
thank you so much for having me. Thank you for your time. I really, really
oh,
appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an
anytime.
amazing job.
It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure for me. It's all good. And so busy December. Merry Christmas in advance,
Merry Christmas.
and all of that. Happy New Year. It's Lexi Whiteside, kids. Get on those socials, especially if you're a fashion designer, choreographer,
Makeup artist,
videographer, makeup artist.
uh,
Yeah,
anyone,
the
come
whole
and talk to me.
shebang.
Another musician,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, because we're gonna need. This is a big stage show that's being planned for so in the not too distant future. We're gonna need props. We're gonna need. Does anybody know where to buy like 3 ton of glitter really cheap from? Perhaps we might.
Ooh.
We might need some dancing dogs, other assorted furry animals. Who
Inflatables.
knows? Inflatables. Yeah, yeah. Well, there's going to be somebody who can sort out all the health and safety issues. That's obviously going to be a thing. They were going to incur. But yeah, we were supposed to end it with that and none of this rambling. But hey,
Keep
what can you do?
it
Uh,
foxy.
there you go. Till next time,
Hey,
kids.
keep it foxy.
There she is.